Hello guys, Wayndre here, and welcome back to Factorio. So, in this episode, I'm going to get another voiceover. You're going to get a nice voiceover, sorry. So, between the episodes, I actually did a little bit of work. I got my coal production up and running and feeding over to the power generation and to our smelteries. Now, I did a little bit of experimentation with the way I wanted my miner set up. Now, that's what I came up with. That's something else. Now, this is the one that I've been using previously. This is the one where it's very close together. Does speed over longevity. So I decided in the long run to actually go with that one. But you can kind of see how it uses one underground belt, a couple of regular transport belts to get, and one medium electric pole to get all 6 of those covered in power. Mine uses a regular electric pole and a underground belt per 2 miners, so it's not really that much more efficient, or at least cost worthy. So I decided to go with that one. Now this is running pretty well right now, but it's in the long run it's gonna cost me more than it actually is worth. So I tear it apart and I start making it off of the other one, or off of the other blueprint. Now the one thing that's good about blueprints is if you already have part of a blueprint down and you delete the rest of it, what you can actually do is you can actually place the blueprint down to line it up, place it, or click it, so it'll turn blue on the ones that are correct, but they're already there, and it will place it and fill in the gaps, basically. It'll make a full blueprint, which is nice. So I put my electric pole down, get the copper going again, put my underground belt, ooh, excuse me, and off the copper and off the coal goes. Now, I also built a couple more miners to increase our production as needed. Now, I need more belt. That's kind of the problem you run into early game, is you run out of transport belt a lot. Actually, I think that's how you run into it all game. But I'm just going to kind of lay out my my first line of mining for coal, just to kind of get it set up and ready, and so I don't have to worry about it later on. Yeah, so I just need... So the other thing, too, is you can run across the belts, but you can't run through the miners. So what I also did between episodes is I actually grabbed a couple of blueprint books that were full of recipes that are blueprints that I would possibly use in the future. Now, I didn't want these cluttering up my inventory, so I put them in a box. Done. Now, some of these I've gotten from the internet so that I can just have them readily available in the game. But I do have all those other blueprints that I can use. Now, again, some of them are going to get modified. Some of them are just base jumping off points. So now I need resources because I want to start making research. So that's going to involve doing some automated assemblers, or assembly machines, and which I'm creating now, and some inserters so that we can actually put them in. So red science requires copper copper plates and iron gears. So it's kind of, I have to set this up in the right way, and it's like, do I set this up here? No, this is not the right way. Alright, so I figured out what I'm doing. And I had to jump cut in here because I think the dogs were barking at that point. So I need one for the red science, and I need one for the gears. So the lineup is kind of important because I wanted this as compact as possible, and they both have to pull from the same chest that has the iron and the copper in it. So, and then obviously the gears have to feed into the red science assembly machine. So now the other thing too is I had to create the chest. So the trick is the the ratio to this is you have to do 4 iron to 1 copper per red science. So I just stuck I stuck 400 copper in, and or 400 iron, 1 copper, and 100 copper in, and now it should start producing for us as soon as I get the power up. But yeah, so it's kind of finding that balance. It uses a lot of iron, but not a lot of copper, so you have to remember to provide what it needs. And I'm not doing this automatically, so, but this, I've actually used this pole here to both power that and to actually make that corner a little bit better. Not the best. Sorry for all you people that are OCD. It's not going to get any better from here on out. But then I'm like, I want to get steel research because I want to get those steel electric poles up because they make a lot of stuff easier to do. Now I do the steel production early so I can actually set it up to produce steel. But now I want to get started on our actual smeltery system. So I need my furnaces, first of all. Place these down. Yeah, I did it in kind of a weird way. I kind of threw myself off there. But, come on, place. There we go. But I don't have enough inserters at this time to actually do them all. But I actually get most of them running so that I can actually get materials out of it in the first place. So they're all pulling from the outside in, so you have to kind of flip-flop them as they go. And then that middle section is your output. So now I run out of inserters, unfortunately, so but then I concentrate on the actual in-feed side of things. Now I realize at this point I need splitters, and I don't actually have them yet. So I have to run over, grab copper, because I think it's copper that I need, but truthfully it's actually iron. I actually don't have enough iron to do it because I stuck all my iron in the yeah, I get really confused. I'm like, wait, I have copper. I should be able to make circuits. And then it clicks in my head, oh right, they need iron each as well. So let's get that all set up. Once I get iron set up, I actually want to get rid of those 4 miners because they're not useful anymore. So I start putting my coal, the leftover coal, in these. You can actually, so something they added in this is actually click and drag. So you can actually stuff in and just click and drag, and it'll only put in inventories that should accept that material. So I finally get my splitters. And while I'm waiting for those, I actually use my conveyor belts to actually to lay these out. I'm like, wait, I gotta do that one first. That comes this way. Click and down. Oh, and I run out. But I'm actually able to use the first splitter and actually get coal, or first 2 splitters, and actually get coal on that line. But the one thing you have to be careful with in this setup is if you put a live feed of material in on a splitter like this and don't have the other splitter there, it'll just split it into 2 lines and you'll have resources on both sides. Now the problem with that is then you can't do what you need to do for the actual supply of this. Because the trick of this is having one side of ore, one side of coal. So you have to be careful with that, or else you're going to have to pick stuff up and have stuff in your inventory, and it's all sorts of a pain in the butt. Now, my one side is backed up because the belt doesn't go down far enough. And at this point, I'm actually setting up for my iron to come in. So I need more conveyor belts. More. Which is a standard phrase, as I have said in this game way too often. So now I kind of contemplate how I want to run my iron miners, because I could run them vertical like I do with the coal, but the way this node is set up, I don't like it. So I decide in the end, well, I keep going with this for a little bit, but then I'm just like, that's not right. I don't like it. And anybody that knows me knows I like clean, and that's not very nice. But I want to set it up like I did that one with the just one. But the problem is I'm gonna have to, either way I'm gonna have to feed it across the copper line to actually get to the iron. So this is just me trying to figure out how am I gonna do this. So yeah, this is the point where I realized, no, I think I want to go horizontal. And I actually butt them right up to, I believe I butt them right up to the setup down there. Yep, and I do. So the other problem with that is at the time didn't realize is there's actually, oh no, I did realize it, but the miners there are actually over a double layer, so there's actually a line there that won't get mined by our electric miners, which is unfortunate, but we ended up actually working it out in the end. I actually think I leave that there for a little bit. So my coal is now backed up a little bit because nothing's actually using it because we're not using a lot of power. But once we get iron in that system, it'll be pumping. So I get it set up, and I got my miners in there. I want to do 4 miners, so I'm kind of having to scramble to build them. So it's kind of the where do I put this? And it's just far enough, so I'd rather put it closer to that line than I would that. And it ends up working out actually once I put it in. But yeah, we're getting our first iron. Now, it's going to be a lopsided setup, unfortunately, just a little bit, because the one miner on the bottom is actually got less to build than the other. So, now this is just me following the iron, because I'm derping around. I don't remember what else. I think I was waiting for the other 2 to finish up before I went any further. So now I have that research done, so I go into optics to try and get... Did I go into optics? Yeah, I think I went into optics at this point. To try and get some lights for you guys, so you guys aren't blind the entire time. Unfortunately, I'm going off a small screen while I'm doing this voiceover, so I was literally spending the last like 5 seconds trying to figure out what the hell that said. Now, the way I did this is I did this so that I don't take all that iron into my inventory. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt process, but it actually does work. So I can literally run the line down. I I do at this point realize that when I do copper, I actually need to move my research setup because it will actually get in the way. Because the reason I do that is because I don't like my inventory clogged up with a whole bunch of things and having to manually go and unload them. So this is where robots come in, because you can literally make a dump chest and robots will pick it up and take it wherever it needs. So I literally take it and just stick it in there because I was like, what am I going to do with this? Nothing. So now this is the point where I have to go, okay, where am I putting this? I only go over 2 because I don't think our supply is going to be too big for right now. Because when we get to like trains and stuff, we're going to redo all this stuff. But you can see how we now have ore on one side, copper on, or coal on the other, and this entire line will actually will feed itself. Now I don't have enough belts to actually get that second set going, but I have to create a couple more, get those going. But it doesn't really matter because I don't have the inserters on that one anyways. But I'm getting iron, so I can actually make some stuff now from this side. And I think this is the point where I go over to try and excuse me, take apart the other stuff, the other ones, but I don't remember what I was doing here. I'm just going back and forth. Oh, I was grabbing more iron so I could grab more conveyor belts. Because I wanted to finish this line off so I could just take it down and not have to worry about it anymore. Because what I'm going to do is actually make an automated setup to actually automatically build conveyor belts for me. Because I kind of got sick of having to create them myself. So that's optics done. And I think I go electronics with this one so we can actually get those power poles. So I was correct on the optics thing. This is one of the problems with doing a voiceover. You can't actually, well, for me, I can't actually read the screen. So I get my, waiting for the assembly tables. Or maybe not. Or do I go conveyors? Yes. Oh, so this is me trying to figure out how many tables I actually need. So I need 2. One for the gears, one for the actual conveyor belt itself. Now, the good thing about conveyor belts is it only uses iron. So the best, so it only needs the iron line to work, and that it kind of works out for us, or for me at least. So now it's just figuring out where I want to put this and what the best spot. Now I wanted to put the conveyor belt one as far down as possible so I could actually get it from the end of the line. But I don't think I actually put my... Yeah, I didn't put it right at the end, so it didn't really matter. So I make the conveyor belts here. Or no, I had to make a box. I had to make an inserter in a box. Now power it. And off you get. Well, I have to actually tell it what to make. There we go. Now I do add a second inserter here to actually speed up the process because just to be able to make more iron gears faster and be able to keep up with the production of conveyor belts. But now I don't have to make conveyor belts anymore because I will automatically have it. I actually restricted it down to only 2 stacks because I don't want to waste all of my iron. Now once we get the bus set up, we won't need to actually have this little setup done anymore. Just because it's a pain in the butt and it's feeding off the main line instead of a branched off portion of it. So I don't like doing that. I don't like kind of throttling my main bus. So and now I'm just waiting for all the inserters to finish so that I can actually get that up to full power of production. But yeah, so this is the point where I realized, okay, you know what? These are all done. These have the materials I need. So I actually start mining them down and realize then, oh, that's not going to reach. So yeah, we're going to have that little bar there. So I'm just like, you know what? There's only about 200 or so resources in each. So I just keep the miners there. So one thing that I had assumed at this time was that the miners only worked in that 2x2 area. So it worked on those 4 and then it was done. Now, it looks as though it might have a larger area because I was looking at it, I think, in the beginning of the next episode, and it had possible ore 2,000. And I'm like, okay, that's not the same as what I thought it was. So, but with the iron production now kicking up or about to kick in, we don't really need those period anymore. So I might just shift them down to take out that 1 row and then be done with it. But that's not going to be till the second part of the next episode, after the cut that I had when I realized my mic wasn't on. So now I'm looking at and trying to determine how I want to set up some other things. Now we have not finished that research, but we need to get this research first. Actually, I think, no, I did not let it stagnate. But yeah, those are the high and medium the large and medium electric poles that we are going to need for most of our other builds. Builds? I tell you said that weird. But I want to wait until that research is finished so I don't have to worry about it. But the other research is actually going to need green science, which actually uses inserters and it uses transport belts. So I kind of want to get a setup going where I'm actually producing more transport belts so I don't have to use as much resources, which we're already doing, so not a big problem. But I am going to leave it here for this episode. The next episode, we are going to continue on with this, get our copper started, get possibly our steel started. I don't remember how far I actually got so far, but I hope you guys are enjoying. Hit that like button if you are, or if you just want to leave me a like, I don't care. But again, if you guys have any tips, tricks, comments, anything, leave them down below. I will take a look at them. I read every single one of them. And then, of course, as always, please subscribe to the channel. There's new videos coming out every day. Well, ish. I keep saying that because I'm so used to doing that. But there's new stuff going on with me every day, not necessarily the channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace!